Welcome to the Women Who Want It All podcast, where you'll learn how to unlock your full potential in order to have and maintain a life of happiness and success. Hi everyone, this is Justine Beauregard, author of To the Women Who Want It All. And in today's podcast, I want to talk about simplifying your life. Now, I'm a perfectionist and an overachiever by nature. If you're listening to this podcast, it's likely that you are too. Part of being a perfectionist is wonderful. You have drive each and every day to be the best you can be. You work hard for everything you have, and you strive for excellence in all that you do. It's rewarding and inspiring. The other part, however, is your constant need to be the best, high stress levels from working so hard on so many things at once, and a lack of fulfillment because you sometimes have too much to achieve. This is where we need balance and simplicity in our lives. Here are some ways I simplify my life to maintain balance despite my perfectionist nature. I'll try meditating for a few minutes before I fall asleep at night. Just basically close your eyes, become aware of your body as you breathe in and out, and clear your mind. Another way is to schedule a 1-hour massage every few months to de-stress and release that tension that you build up in your body. You can also do that sort of on your own by drawing a bath once a week, let's say, light a few candles, pour yourself a glass of wine, listen to some relaxing music. Any of these techniques can help you, and you can come up with some things on your own. Think about what makes you relaxed. What makes you feel like nothing else in the world matters? Use that as your way to simplify your life. There's a couple of little tips and tricks, so to speak, that I actually use to stay on track with my goals while also keeping my life as simple as possible. The first is to continuously remind yourself of your overall goals. Now, on a daily basis, you're going to be focusing on small goals. And this is expected because having the success with those smaller goals will eventually translate into the success of your long-term or overall goals. However, that doesn't mean you should forget about those big picture goals. It's important to make sure that you're still making strides towards those harder to achieve milestones in your life. And if you aren't, perhaps that's because your goals have shifted. Whatever the reason, it's important to dig a little deeper and really find out where your long-term goals are. Reevaluate your smaller goals as well as your larger goals. Setting goals is kind of like playing Jenga. You continue to move pieces around, finding balance as you go. If you move too quickly or don't stop to reevaluate your strategy, everything collapses and then you have to rebuild from scratch. And that's not what you want to do. Another way is to reward yourself once you reach a goal. Now, I've talked about this in another podcast, but I think it's important to reiterate because every time you reach a goal, you should be celebrating your success. That positive reinforcement is great for motivation. Just remember one thing: moderation. Your goals should be challenging and your rewards should fit each goal. If you set a goal of losing 5 pounds, for example, it's probably not a great idea to go polish off an entire bucket of fried chicken as your reward. On the other hand, let's say you earn $10,000 in a bonus at work. Don't go buy a pack of gum to reward yourself for a job well done. Go do something fun. Use a little bit more of what you've actually earned to celebrate your achievement. I want you to think about the word abbreviation for a second. Isn't it funny how something that means short is such a long word? I think of simplicity like that. Simplicity is something that sounds easy and means effortless, yet it's so difficult to recognize and achieve. As women who want it all, we tend to overcomplicate our lives. Of course, this isn't done intentionally. We want simplicity. It's just hard to achieve when you have so much to do and feel like you can't afford to make a mistake. We're afraid that if we see things too simply, we'll miss something. And we feel sometimes like goals have to be complex for them to be valuable. But that's not correct. The best things in life are actually the simple things. Let me give you some examples. I've been a pack rat since I can remember. I'm convinced it's genetic because most people in my family are also pack rats. The reason why, at least what I believe to be the reason, comes from placing an emotional value on material items. And sometimes that can be derived from the sentimentality of an item, while other times it's the result of how that value was determined on that item in the first place. When I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of money. So each time I earned enough money to purchase something I wanted, I cherished it. And that item then became both a representation of my hard work and an extremely valuable piece of my life due to the effort it took to acquire. And slowly, my life became cluttered. And it wasn't just with material things. I also had emotional clutter. I had people who cluttered how I spent my time and thoughts that cluttered my mind. None of these benefited my life in any way. No type of clutter ever will, because clutter has only one purpose, and that's to subtract from your life, not add to it. I'll tell you now that my life is not clutter-free by any means, but I have downsized quite a bit over the years in an effort to simplify my life. First, I learned how to conduct a cost-benefit analysis on material objects. If something is taking up valuable space and not serving a purpose, or if someone could benefit more from it than I could, I now consider getting rid of it. This exercise is actually very freeing, and I do the same thing with my wardrobe as well. So I developed something called the 12-month rule, and if I haven't worn an item in the past year, I have to either use it or decide to get rid of it. Cluttering your life with objects, people, or thoughts that don't benefit you in any way will only cloud your judgment and prevent you from realizing what's truly important in your life. You need to focus on what really matters and forget about those other things. Trust me, you'll be surprised at how little you actually need to be happy or successful. Good luck!